I'm doing good. Yo, y'all been dropping some good stuff lately. I've been getting too worked up in the AW.
Man,
the men's group, yeah, the men's group been going down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But see, they're not ready for those conversations.
No. Well, that's why we do the men cave, because we can kind of take the men conversations and kind of bring them maybe a slighter version of those. Because I honestly feel like if we kind of went completely and
we are live.
Yeah, we're live right now.
Yeah,
okay.
They can hear me. They can hear what I'm saying. If we was to go completely,
I wanted to make sure. I'm like, hold up.
Yeah.
Before we start discussing what we.
And so yeah, but how's everybody doing? Because I honestly feel like if we kind of went completely. Oh,
that was me. My bad.
Okay. It's always weird hearing myself being played back. Hold on, let me. I need to turn all my notifications off because those will be the devil. All right. Let me turn that down. Okay, what up? So what up, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all doing, fellas?
Doing good.
Good.
What's going on? Turn all my notifications off.
That's me.
You know what?
All right, so man, I'm excited about this one, y'all. I'm excited about this conversation. I feel like a lot of the things that have been being said in not only the men's group but also the main group kind of has been touching on some of the things that we can talk about. So I haven't been saying a lot in the comments, but I've been like, I can't wait to talk to y'all about today. So
they being nosy. Look at
already.
Who out of us, who was the one that came up with this idea for this man cave? Was it you? It was Josh.
Was
it Josh?
It probably was Josh.
Josh, can you go ahead and give us an introduction to this one then? If you will.
Wow. So, hey, let's just jump in.
Wait. Before you do that, I'm sorry. Before you do that, okay. Do y'all want to introduce ourselves? There may be some new people in here, and I'm not sure. I'm ready to jump in. You see how eager I am. So I'll go first. I'm Tay. I'm opening up a new bottle of water when I got one open already. I am Tay. I am an artist, and yeah, that's about it about me. Somebody else can go ahead.
Well, I'm Josh. I'm usually the troublemaker. I am an award-winning actor. Just love saying that. A four-time author, and I almost forgot where I was.
You see?
I'm doing the doggone thing.
What?
Oh yeah, they cut it.
Who I go next? I'm Rob. I am a recording engineer, mixing, mastering engineer in Atlanta. Married, 3 kids. I just had number 3. 4 weeks ago tomorrow.
Come on now.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, man. And I'm admin with AW. Man, love y'all, and love having these man cave conversations and getting it in. So ready to get it.
All right, I'm Fitz. I pastor here in Phoenix, Arizona. Always enjoy talking about relationship topics. Written a couple books on relationships. Have a relationship coaching website I just launched. So definitely busy, but I enjoy these conversations. These are the best conversations ever. So I'm looking forward to it.
This is doing No Shave November.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike.
Right.
I'm Mike, father of 2, and soon to be author. Stay tuned.
Get it.
All right, so dope. Well, Josh, you can go ahead and take it away from here.
Well, we were consulting the Lord, as we often do in the men's cave. We were consulting the Lord about where to go next, and I'm not going to put that one on the Lord. something bubbled up in me. It's just a belief of mine that women are walking double standards. And we were looking for a title. I'm not going to even read the comments because but I know they about to eat me alive. But we were talking about where to go next, and it was what do women really want, and they really don't know, but they like the idea of what they want. And oftentimes because because the reality does not match their idea, they try to unsubscribe. So we want to unpack that tonight. What do y'all really want? Do you want your idea, or do you want the reality? What do you really want?
Yeah, and I remember on one of the posts, someone had said that it seems like more women are ready for marriage and ready to be wives than there are men that are ready to be husbands. And I didn't agree with that. I think that a lot of women are ready to be the idea of what they think a wife is, rather than actually being ready to be what a wife is. And so we talked about it a little bit in the group, and then we talked about it a little bit amongst ourselves, and we was like, you know what, this should definitely be the topic. Does anybody want to go ahead and start not the cut up, but the teaching on this, the discussion? There you go.
Hey, so let's do this before we get started, guys. Let's give this disclaimer. We understand generalizations and general statements cannot apply for everybody. So please don't get in the comments talking about not me. You know, that's not how I am. We understand that's not how you are. We're saying that that's how you are tonight, right? But we understand generalizations do not apply to everybody. Everybody has their own, preferences, desires, whatnots. So can we just deal with that off top so we can save 30 comments in the comments? About that?
Thank you.
And it seems like the comments are already going crazy, and somebody has already said, Brandy says, we know what we don't want. Here's the thing about that, and I don't want to just go ahead. Here's the thing about that. Sometimes what you say you want don't match up to what you define that thing as. And so I say that, I'm saying you'll say that you want a husband, but everything that you're looking for is outside of what a husband is. And so it's like, yeah, you're saying what you want, but how is that what you want? How does that align with what God says a husband is? And so if it doesn't align with that, then are you a wife? Because I think the first thing, one of the things of being a wife is being able to identify what a husband is. And if you can't identify what a husband is based on what God said a husband is, then how can you say that you're ready to be a wife? So I just want to respond to that comment. Were you finna say something, Overseer?
No,
I just noticed the name.
Nope. Okay. Who's going?
Okay, I'll start because I got experience. I have experience. So one of my biggest pet peeves is this whole notion of you make time for what you want. I don't subscribe to this because there are a lot of things that I really want to do, but because they are not a priority for me right now, I cannot do because time does not allow me to do them. So it's not that I don't want to hang with you. It's not that I don't want to go out. It's just that that's not my priority right now. And you can't tell me as a woman that you want somebody, a man that is successful, and then bash me and criticize me and derail me for working for my success or working towards my success. What do you want? What do you really want? Do you want me to be laid up under you all day, or do you really want me to be successful? Like, what do you really want? So it's not that I don't want to spend time with you. And it's not that I don't try to spend time with you. I had an ex-girlfriend. I said, listen, I'm doing 3 shows right now. I have this going on. I have this going on. My only free time right now is Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if something falls off, time is all yours. Oh, so you put me on the schedule? No, you just make time for what you want. No, baby. I make time for what's priority right now. And the hard truth is that you're not always going to be priority. My love for you is there. I want you. I'm interested in you, but you're not always going to be my number one priority. And sometimes you're going to have to take a sit down. You're just gonna have to chill.
Josh, can I add on to that real quick?
Oh, go for it.
That's good. And even in saying that, you're not, and you said, that you're not always gonna be my number one priority. But what people got to understand is, even when I'm working, even when I'm out here doing like you're doing the shows, and I'm at the studio till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. some nights. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're doing those things, you are putting them as the priority, because that's how you provide for them. That's how you love for them. That's
Exactly.
how that's how you provide for the trips, for the house, for the food, for the dates. Like, how I'm gonna take you out on a date and I don't have any extra money, and or I take you out on a date and I spend good money, $100, $200, $300 on a date, and now I'm late on my rent, and now I'm going around begging. That's not prioritizing you. That's actually doing damage to myself. That's not putting you first. That's actually putting myself last, and putting you last in the process. So we can't say, oh, you're not prioritizing me.
Right.
We have to know that, look, by me doing this, I am prioritizing you, and I'm doing this out of my love for you, and to prepare myself to be a good provider, because nobody want a man that's begging, that got them out there begging, asking family for money, got them out there can't buy new clothes, can't go to the nail salon when she want to go, can't get her hair done when she want to get it done. Don't nobody want that, but you got to understand that we have obligations that we have to take care of as well, and that has to be just acknowledged,
So I told my wife this when we got together, right? You may not always feel like the priority, but you're always my motivation. Everything I do is because of you. You may not feel like it right now, but I'm doing this because of you. And sometimes the person that's covered doesn't understand the responsibility of the covering, right? And it's not their job to, as long as I know what my function is. Do you remember when we talk about examples, right? What does that look like? What does an example look like? You remember when Jesus was getting ready to ascend into heaven, and he tells the disciples, I have to leave, and they did not want him to go. And he says, but if I don't leave, the comforter can't come. It ain't want to be with you, but my time away from you is going to be a benefit to you.
Yeah.
And people talk about they don't know what good examples look like. Yes, you do. Read your Bible. Sometimes it's required for me to go away so I can build up what you need.
So since we don't went to the Bible, because I feel the Holy Ghost tonight. I feel like I feel my help, because Miss Mercedes says, well, stop dating and start dating when you have time. So here's my response to that. Then you're not my helpmate, because again, if we're looking for examples, when did God give Adam a woman? After Adam had all of this work to do, God said, it's not, he said, it's not good for man to be alone.
That's right.
Right? Adam got his woman while he was out working. He wasn't sitting around saying, oh, I want a woman. I got time to date. I got time to do this. And when did Adam's work stop? Never.
Never stop.
Never. So if we're going to say stop dating until you have time, as a man, my time to work never stops, because as a man that is a builder, I'm always charged to build something. I'm always building something. So if you don't have the capacity or the capability to help me meet what I need to build, then it's so hard to say goodbye. Not really.
But and let me just jump in real quick. That's so true. I'm so grateful for my wife, because I would not be in the position I'm in right now without her. allowing me, there's moments, but of course, but she has allowed me to do what I need to do to build my business. But like you said, the work doesn't stop. At this point, I own my own, business. I have contract. I don't have employees. I have contractors that come in and work for me and do sessions and do mixes and do all these kind of things for me. But at the same time, the business is still building and we are, moving from level to level, from glory to glory, all these types of things. And, like I said, there's still times I have to be there all 10, 8-10 hours a day. There's times where now it does give me a bit of freedom, where I can, say no to some projects and say yes to other projects. But at the same time, there's still days where I got to be there 8, 10, 12 hours a day. And not only that, even if I was independently wealthy at this point and could just say, you know what, I'm just going to stay at home and let my money make me money. Even if I was at that point, there are other things taking away our time from each other. We got kids taking away time from each other. It never gets to a point where you just, vacations are great. You can do that, weekend here, a week there, but there's always something else that either God is calling you to do, work, kids, life. Something is always going to try to pull you guys apart. Pastor Fitz, you said this on I forget what post it was, but they were asking about how often you got attacked or when you get attacked after you get married, and you said that the devil starts attacking you to try to keep you apart, especially sexually, as soon as you get married.
Right after.
And that's the truth. Like as soon as you get married, and it's everything wants to try to get in the way of what you got going on with your wife. So if you can't handle that as a girlfriend, as somebody that's dating, then you're gonna shut down when it comes to time for marriage, because you're not strengthening yourself in the ability to let that person go and to be able to still have that same passion and love for them when they're able to come back. And that's something everybody got to be strengthened in.
Absolutely.
Can I address something? Listen, I'm on it tonight. Somebody said, but when do you make time to build your family though? Well, Ecclesiastes says that there is a time and a place for everything. And the issue that most women have, and I'm not saying all, because we made that announcement, so don't try me. The issue with most women is that when they don't get it when they want it, it's an issue. So either you're going to understand timing or you're not. You don't get to pick and choose when you want to accept the timing, because if it's your time, then we're good. And you good until it's no, not right now. It's the same way we act with God. We love God all day long when it's okay, yes, open door. But when God say, no, sit down for a season. No, I got something else. Be cool. That's when we begin to rebel. That's when we begin to think, well, I'm not loved by God, or I don't feel his presence like I used to, or I don't, something's off. Maybe I need to do something different. No. You just need to accept the fact that time and chance happens to us all.
Right. I think we have to address the burden of responsibility that comes with blessings, right? We ask God for these things, right? And there's a burden of responsibility that comes with it. And I think that's where we're talking about what you want versus what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You say you want a man who's a preacher. Well, guess what? He's going to have a responsibility. He's going to have a study schedule.
Ooh.
He's going to have a preaching schedule. He may pastor. He's going to have to deal with multiple women, right? That you may or may not like, right? And it doesn't matter if you like them or not, because he's called to shepherd them. You may have to deal with late calls at night. You ask for these things, but you really either weren't conditioned for the responsibility because you were too busy fantasizing about what it's going to be like, and we're doing ministry together, only to find out that may not have been God's intent, right? Because if you're not built for it, you're not prepared for the burden. And so you want somebody who makes a lot of money, or these women who talk about, I want an ex-thug who got saved. Okay, so if he has a criminal record, that's your ex-thug, but now you got to help him You got to help him provide. You got to be okay with his past. You got to be okay with the consequences of how he used to live. We ask these things, right, amiss, and don't really realize the cost that comes with it. And so we have to be careful, right? Because I told my wife, I feel bad for you, and this is why I give her everything, because my morning starts at 5 a.m. and it's done at 11. I have 3 or 4 or 5 different conference calls after I get off of work, right? And I'm alive right now, right? She downstairs, I'm upstairs. There's a cost that comes with it. Now, she does not have to work if she doesn't want to. She can run her business if she wants to. She can pretty much get whatever she wants. And that's because I asked God to let me provide that for her, right? But that ain't for everybody, right? I can tell her stuff and she don't repeat it, right? There's a burden that comes with that. And everybody doesn't understand. This is the reality of what life is like. You ask for somebody who could produce, there's going to be a cost of production.
There is a cost.
Yeah.
There is a cost. And like you said, we ask for things that look, I say this all the time. We like the aesthetic of things, but we don't know the process of the thing. I think about, since I just feel real churchy tonight, so y'all just going to have to deal with it. The people didn't want God because they liked the aesthetic of a king, and they begged and petitioned God, "Give us a king, give us a king, give us a king, give us a king."
You're saved tonight.
Listen, I'm here tonight. Give us a king, give us a king, and God says, "Okay, you want this?" And for a season, it looked like what they wanted, until it ran them in the dirt. And then it became, "Oh God, deliver me." No, baby. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. So like Fitz was saying, you want the hardcore thug until he can't get a job. And now you run into the group chat. "Oh, well, he's sorry. He just lazy. He can't do nothing. I'm having to pay for this. I'm having to go here." But baby, that's what you wanted. That's what you opened your mouth. And see, I gotta be calm, because I cuss. So
and let me address something that I see in it. Well, I make time for this, I make time for that. There's a difference between somebody who is looking for marriage and wants marriage to come to them, right? Men and women take a different approach to marriage, and y'all gonna really get mad when I say this. There's a difference between being pressed to marry and prepared for marriage, right? And we have a mind of preparing to get married, right? And y'all gonna hate me for this, but church women typically have a press to get married. You have a timeline. You want it done by a certain thing. You think your purpose can't be fulfilled until it. There's a difference, right? And so we don't have to make time if we wait for time to bring itself to pass, right? Adam did not have to make time for Eve. When it was time, God says, "Take a nap." Right? He didn't have to create space. God brought her into his life at the right time. And so while you're trying to make time, and then, as a matter of fact, all you who make time, tell me how that worked for you. Anybody make time and got married? Right? And that's rough stuff to say, but let's be honest. You're so pressed. Yes, you're gonna make time. Some of y'all some will ignore their own kids, ignore their own responsibilities, ignore they got to go to work early in the morning, be late for church the next day because you're pressed to make time. Well, we like, I'm not messing that up. I got responsibilities. I have kids to take care of. I have bills to pay. I want to be a good husband for somebody. So here's the reality. When I have priorities and I'm not manipulated by somebody else's desire for me to adjust to their schedule, I'm not changing who I am because I know who I am.
Yep. Yeah. Josh, I think you said something that was so dope when you talked about them wanting a king, and their want for a king was based on what they seen all around them.
Yes.
They have a king.
There it is.
So we want that. God is like, I got you already. And it's like, no, but they have that. And I think a lot of times women base what they want in a husband off of what they're seeing around them. And it has zero to do with what God, again, has called a husband to be. And they're saying, like you said, I want the thug. I want him to be a thug, but I want him to be a Christian too. And it's almost like build a husband. And I want a little bit of that I seen on Instagram. And I want some of that right there. And it's like, no, that's not for you. That's not for you. But it's like, but I want that. And then next thing you know, you divorced in a couple years.
Yep.
And I think that
you wasted your investment.
Yeah, exactly. Or that person wasted your time when that wasn't the person for you in the first place.
You wasted your time. And
Exactly.
You wasted your
and
time.
what we all have to resolve and reconcile with ourselves is, do I really want what God wants for me, or do I want what I want for me with a hint and a dash of God's seasoning?
Mhm.
A lot of us like to make our own meals and put a little dash of Jesus on it and say, "Oh, God did that."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what do you really want? Do you really want the will of God for your life, or do you want what He'll allow?
I actually take the lap. And what's crazy is I rarely see people. Not only, and I'm not just gonna say women because I don't want this to just be a women thing, but this is man cave. So you know what? I'm just gonna say women. A lot of times I see when women describe what they want in a husband, it has little to do with God. And we base it on that. And it's tough because it's like, how do you want the blessings of God
When women
when you
describe
didn't
what
even,
they want.
is that the, oh, I'm sorry. How do you want the blessings of God when you didn't even include him as the main ingredient to what you were looking for? Even when we look at, let's go to the post today, where it was somebody made a post. I don't want to mess it up, but it was about the providing and provide if he
I gotta pay half.
wants to get the pay half joint.
Yes.
If I have to pay half, then I'm not submitting to that person. Even with that, it's like, where is that biblically?
It's not.
And in that, you had a whole bunch of believers who was in agreement with that, and it had nothing to do with what God called a husband to be. Very rarely I see people say, I want a husband that loves me like Christ loved the church. I've seen, I want him to make this much money. I want him to have a full beard. I want him to have time for me. But show your beard, Josh. But rarely do we see people say that I want a husband that loves me like Christ loved the church. But then we want God to bless that thing. And it's like, you didn't marry a husband. You married what your preference was. And then I hear people say also, well, why do I have to downgrade what I want for a husband? And that's such a prideful thing to say, to think that you're downgrading, to say like your preference is an upgrade over what God had preference for you.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, then why does the man have to downgrade what he wants when it comes to sexual attributes or physical attributes to get what you want?
Fact.
Because we get dragged if we talk about, well, I want a lot of sex. I want somebody who's going to cook at home. I want somebody who's going to keep the peace. I want somebody who knows how to do this, this, and this. And we get dragged. I want her to be thin. I want her to be dark. I want her to be light-skinned. I want her to have real hair.
Mm-hmm.
And we get dragged. But you expect God to downgrade our desires so you can have yours. Gotcha.
Or we even get dragged just to say we want a woman to be our safe place. That whole idea of saying I want you to be a safe place for me, that gets dragged. That whole
why I gotta be a safe
concept
place
of
for
that
you?
whole
Why I gotta
idea-
be?
Why I gotta
You
be a
can't be safe in
place?
yourself. You can't. It's like, yo. I'm sorry, Michael. Go ahead,
I'm
bro.
back on sense.
It's like, what do you really want? That's the question that plagues men. What do you really want? Because even what Tay said, he said, how many women have said, I want a man that will love me like Christ loves me? Well, what happens when Christ has to leave the 99 to go after the one? See, we get to this point where we think we have this monopoly on God, where God is ours, and that His love. But what happens when the time comes that even God Himself has to say, "No, you good right now. Let me go after the one that ain't."
Right.
Can you handle that?
Right.
If you can't handle that with God, you show. Thank you, Holy Ghost, because I almost said it. You sure can't handle it with me.
That's good.
I think we need some comic relief right now because I think they're a little uptight right now. So laughing does good, like a good medicine. Laugh, cheering, laugh.
And this is, again, this is not like a bashing session for the women. It's Men Cave. And so it actually gives y'all an opportunity to see kind of what we talk about and the things that we feel when it comes to what we see. If a lot of this would have been said on that post, probably get dragged.
Ate up alive.
Yeah.
Ate up alive.
Probably get dragged. And so this allows y'all to go ahead and step into our group and see exactly how we feel.
General statements from a male perspective.
Facts.
Now somebody commented, they said, now Josh, that sound like he want to go cheat when you put it that way. Leave the 99 and go for the one. I am the 99 and the one. So can you expound on leaving the 99 and going for the one so they know exactly what you mean?
That's selfish. You think that because I love you, that my love has to be help me say this right. Always yours, always in your favor, always in your corner, always for you and you alone. We good? Fitz is frozen.
Yeah.
Let him back. Everybody else is good.
Okay. So it's not that if I wanted to cheat, I wouldn't be with you because I don't believe in cheating. Let's let's clarify that one. But Jesus leaving the 99 simply means that the greater majority of this is good. Let me go work on the thing that's weak right now, because you're only as strong as your weakest link. So if I don't have time to go build up the part of us that's weak, we're not gonna make it. Mm-hmm. So there are seasons where I can't be I can't be in your face. Even Jesus had to leave the people that he loved. He said, okay, I need to get away from y'all, but y'all stay here and watch, but let me go spend some time by myself.
I'm back.
And can you really handle when I really have to go spend time with myself? Or are you gonna come, hey babe, what you doing? Where you at? You miss me? No, I don't miss you. I don't. And the thing is, and that sounds harsh, but at some point we have to mature and really grow up and allow each other to be honest with each other. Because now I'm scared to tell you I don't really miss you, because now you ain't gonna get none. And you're gonna be feeling some kind of way. But I don't miss you. I've been in your face all week. Let me have my moment to myself to get myself together. And then when I come back, I miss me. That's why I need to spend some time with me. You be blessed and encouraged to the third degree.
Before I got married, my pastor at the time, he told me, he said, every day when I come home from work, what I do is I go down to my basement. He had his little man cave down there in his basement. And he said, I go down to my basement. I spend an hour by myself every day after work to refresh and rejuvenate myself. And he said, make sure when you get married, he told me this, and I was dating my current wife. He said, make sure when y'all get married that you make sure you make time for yourself and set that side of time so that you can have that to refresh yourself. And at the time, I did not understand. I was like, man, I don't never get tired of her. And eventually, over time, you're married to somebody, you see them every morning, every night. First person you see when you wake up, last person you see before you go to bed. And you need those moments to rest and refresh yourself and to have quiet and to have peace. Not that person is causing chaos, but sometimes just everything that's going on in the day, you need those moments of peace. And so when I first started telling my wife, what he had said, and sometimes I'm gonna need a little time after work. I'm gonna need this. She looked at me. She said, "You don't love me anymore.
You don't love me no more.
Right. Why you need that? And you don't love me." And see, my wife, she didn't work for like the first 6-7 years of our marriage. She took care of the home. Right now, she take care of the home. She worked for a few years, and right now she take care of the home. And so, at the time, she didn't understand it at all. I barely understood what I was saying. I was like, I think this would be good for me, But you gotta get to a point where you realize, look, people are not, being loving somebody, being in love with somebody doesn't mean that you need to be in their face 24/7.
Right.
And needing a moment away doesn't mean that you don't love them or that you are, have an issue with them. It's not an issue. There's no issue. I just need this hour of quiet, silence, peace, aloneness to myselfness, so I can get back to me, like you said.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't in God's face 24/7.
Right.
So
should I question your love for him, or should I?
Right.
Tay, don't make me run. I'm gonna take another lap. But that's the thing.
real, though.
Because this is a real scenario. So I'm the truest form of a creative. Like my mind always going. Like it's very taxing. Just that alone, it's very taxing. So it takes a special individual to be with me. I know that. So I was with my ex-girlfriend, and she knew I have these things about me that I communicate, and I have this thing. Don't judge me. I don't care if you do, but I sit Indian style on the floor. And when I'm sitting Indian style on the floor, I'm really in deep thought trying to work something out. She knew that, right? So if I was in that position too long, it would be like, well, when are you gonna be done? When are you gonna be done? When are you gonna be done? And it's just like, so you want me to respect your boundaries, but you give two flips about mine. And you don't, because you don't understand what it is I'm doing, you can't take it serious. So, let's unpack that idea of, because I don't understand it, it's not important to me. So, ooh, the devil's trying to get me tonight. So y'all ought to be proud of me. Vernique, you got to be proud of me tonight. Screw your boundaries. This is about me. I think that's very selfish. I think it's very selfish for you to say, because I don't understand what it is that you're hard at work doing or thinking about or working through, that I get to make this moment about me. And if you don't subscribe to me, then I'm mad. And I'm going to help you out with what the Bible says, since y'all like Bible. I'm going to help you out. That's witchcraft, huh? Because that's manipulation. You don't like that, and you want me to turn, but it's not going to happen.
Man.
Well,
understanding each other is absolutely essential for any type of relationship. And not even just understanding each other, but accepting what you don't understand sometimes. There's some things you don't have to understand everything, and it's okay. You don't have to get why they need, to hang out with the guys. You don't have to understand why they need alone time. You don't have to understand, every single thing to be able to acknowledge it and to acknowledge their truth.
And I think that's an extension of trust, though, right? When you trust me, when I trust you, your word can be enough, right? When people say yes, we don't ask them to explain. But for some reason, when they say no, we're like, oh, but why?
Right.
But when I trust you, if you need space, all right, you need space. I'll be here when you get back. Doesn't matter how I feel if you said that's what you need, right? And I think that's important when you really build a foundation to know a person and how they are and who they are. And I think as men, and hopefully I'm sure as women too, when you're married to somebody, you typically know what they need sometimes before they even need it, right? When my wife is having a bad day, I know I'm about to go buy some head-on shrimp from Angry Crab, right? Trifecta with extra sauce. I know she needs a Kit Kat bar and, a Butterfinger. Boom. And I already know something's wrong. She doesn't have to say it because I know her like that. I think, but we've developed that level of communication and trust. You got to know that, and it makes it easy.
Yeah. That's big.
I'm over here reading comments, y'all.
I gotta do more of that for my wife. I know exactly those, like you said, those things. The Kit Kat.
Do y'all get that in return? As far as when you need that space, do you have to explain it, or is it something they know?
That's a little different. Because now, and here's the deal, guys. I hate making general statements. I feel like a lot of women know what men need. They just don't want to give it to them. Right? Because when we get to the point to where we communicate what we need, it's already taken us a long time to get there as it is. Right?
Yes.
And I think that, and once again, this is general statements, that the mass majority of men feel that their needs come secondary to the spouse's needs.
Absolutely.
The girlfriend's needs. So in other words, what you need is important, but what I need is if you feel like it.
If you feel like it.
If you feel like it, because if you don't want to do it, you don't feel like you should have to do it. Right? And so I don't think, this is going to sound weird, I don't think we get it in return, but I actually think we're wired to endure that. Because I don't think women could handle the level of disregard for their needs the way we do. Now, of course, they're going to feel different because they're women and they have their own needs, right? But the areas where we have needs, and let's just be honest, we know what those areas are. We can complain, we can express, we can share, because we don't really have many needs. We really only need a couple of things: food and sex, right? That's my need. You wanted to get me to de-stress? Give me some, right? That's my need. If I'm stressed out and I finally decide to tell you, just don't use it against me later. That's my need. But for some reason, those three things I asked you to do, you struggle with doing. Not because you don't know, you just don't want to.
Right.
And it could be because emotions seem to take precedent over logic when it comes to, tough situations. But I think, believe it or not, I think men are wired to endure that.
Absolutely. And I say that we're wired to do that because I had to teach my little brother this. When he was little, he would cry every time somebody told him no. And I had to go to him and I said, listen, June, you have to learn how to celebrate the no like you celebrate the yes.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get told no a lot. And if no is going to hurt your feelings, and that's a word for somebody, catch that in the spirit. You got to learn how to celebrate no just like you celebrate the yes. Job said, do I walk away from God because this don't feel good to me? You was with me when everything was all good, but now the things then got rocky. You want to call it quits, but we are wired, and I want to address Mercedes. Right? The B clause of her comment. She said she never saw it that way. Men have a hard time expressing themselves. So I'm on this whole roots kick. So that's the branch. Yes, we have a hard time expressing ourselves, but spend some time investigating why. Why do men have a hard time expressing ourselves? It's because you got to go back to that root. That one time that we were vulnerable, it was used against us. And that was the one time that made us say, yep, never going to do that again.
Well, and so here, I'm going to give you a prime example. So the nature of this discussion is men's perspective on how we feel, communicating our perspective, right? You get 15 comments in the comments say, that's not true. I just told you what it was.
Right.
And your response is, that's not true. You're not listening, right? Yeah. So what they do is you get hearing to respond, but you're speaking too quick. So you're not dissecting what we say. You're not really hearing me, because what did you do? That's not true. You missed exactly what we're trying to point out. When you respond that quick, you didn't listen. You saying I disagree is like me telling you your feelings don't matter. And this is why if you say men have a communication issue, it can literally be, I just told you what I need, and then you respond with, that's not true. You didn't hear me.
So not only that, you had every man on here nodding our head yes when you said it.
Exactly. And so But this is called effective communication. My job, right, is to take an opportunity to express how I feel, right? I control the intent, but your heart controls the interpretation. I can't control how you interpret it, right? I can't control how you interpret it, but I can control how I intended it, right? Yep. And if we can't meet in the middle, right, then we have to figure out, well, how can I help you better understand? And women are great at this because they're going to say the same thing 15 times to try to get us to agree, even though we said, I don't agree. even though we said no, and you're gonna come back on Tuesday, say the same thing in a different way, thinking I'm gonna change my response. It's not that I didn't understand, I just don't agree. So I think the communication block is you're listening to respond and not to understand. Because if I say how I feel, it's not wrong.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. It's
I'll
the thing.
say to that. Go ahead, Jeff. I'll just say, for me, communication. The problem I see with communication is this: more times than not, what some women say is a communication issue is complete exhaustion for us. I've said the same thing 4 times, 4 different ways, and for some reason, 2 plus 2 is not making 4, and I don't know how to simplify what I've said
without hurting your feelings.
At this point, without hurting your feelings, I'm exhausted. I've exhausted every explanation, words, phrases, sentences, examples. At this point, I don't know what else you want from me, and so you're gonna take it offensively, to say, well, you're not communicating with me. I'm trying my best.
And sometimes I feel like when women say that you're not communicating with them, it's you're not communicating in a way that they want to hear it.
That I want you to communicate.
Yeah. And so you can be speaking to them and being as clear as you can be on your end, but if it's not hitting home for them, it's like you're not communicating. But if you turn that around, we have to hit that every time. When you say it the way you say it, you're not going to change the way you say it, but we have to understand. And I feel like, and that's why I asked the question, is it given in return? Because I feel like in most cases, and again, this is not a general statement for every person, but in most cases, and as you see the men agreeing, it's not really reciprocated.
But what I want to say real quick is most women, and I hate to generalize, but it's been my experience. I've been with a lot of women. Hey, whatever. Most of my experiences have been women want something that they really can't handle. Case in point, I had a girlfriend. She wanted me to be her best friend. She wanted me to be her best friend, but she couldn't handle me being her best friend because sometimes I needed to vent about my girlfriend to my best friend and she couldn't handle it. So then it became a problem when I stopped doing that and started doing it with my best friend. Well, I just feel like I'm supposed to be your best friend. You're supposed to be able to tell me. First of all, who told you that your man is supposed to be your best friend that will share all our secrets and blah blah blah? That's something you picked up off of Instagram. You've been watching David and Tamla Man too much. I love them, but that you've been watching them too much, and you want me to be that, but you can't handle that because when I come to you as best friend and say, "Listen, XYZ," now you in your feelings, and now you as my girlfriend are withholding goodness from me because of something you said you wanted. So what do you really want? Do you really want me to be your best friend? Because best friends have hard conversations.
True. I want to go back just a little bit. Because a lot of the women on here, we're getting a lot of comments about, and ladies, please keep in mind, if you weren't here when we first started, we gave the disclaimer. We're not trying to generalize. This is not all women. We get that. We understand. But we are talking about the issues that we are coming across and we are noticing. And whether you feel like it's you, maybe it's not you, maybe, so somebody you are with or have been with would disagree that it has been you or it can be you. But it's not all women. But I do want to kind of jump back on this communication thing, because one thing we do have to definitely acknowledge is that men and women are wired differently. We think differently. We speak differently. And so when we try to communicate something to you, you know, we try our best to communicate things clearly, you know, and whether or not you understand it or receive it is a question of what mindset you put yourself in. Are you putting yourself in the mindset of, let me try to understand how he feels, or are you putting yourself in the mindset of, what is he trying to say about me?
Mhm.
Because if you put yourself in the mindset of, what is he trying to say about me, then you're going to come away offended at what he's asking you for. If your man comes to you and asks you for something that he needs, and Fitz hit the nail on the head, we only need a few things, man. Uh, you know, food, sex, respect. That's basically it. You know, that's
PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
you know, and a PlayStation 5 for some of us, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's not a lot of things that we really need from you um to satisfy us. You know, so when we tell you what we need, you know, are you taking it as a shot? Are you taking it as a are you getting your feelings and deciding like, oh, he's trying to say this about me, or oh, he's, you know, and now I'm about to feel bad because we're communicating, or are you saying, okay, let me listen and find out what he needs so that I can reciprocate, you know, the love and the things that they need and give it back to him. Because, you know, if you don't understand, and if you come away feeling a certain way, you know, ask questions. Make sure those questions aren't leading questions, and questions that again take you right back to, you know, oh, he's trying to put me down. Because I'm tell you, 9 times out of 10, that's not what it is. It's, we're trying to communicate something to you, and you know, you got to make sure that that you're not you know, taking it as a shot. Meek Ness typed in, so does she have to give it all the time, or are you willing to compromise if we're tired as well?
Definitely.
I think that's about the sex. I'm sure that's about the sex.
Oh,
I'm talking loud. Oh, my bad.
But
definitely.
compromise, there's a difference between compromise and excuse. And you know, you can't there's a huge difference, because you know, you're tired most times is because you mad. Well, I'm mad now, so now I'm tired.
Mhm.
You know, so let's really define and be honest about what we're asking and what we're requiring. And even with platonic relationships or family relationships, I just had a conversation with my sister last week. It was when my book came out, and I sent my sister a simple request, and my sister, instead of listening to what I was asking her, she responded back to something that had nothing to do, whatever. So I blew up at her, and when I blew up, that voice in it was, no, Josh, you responded wrong. So I had to go back and ask the question, why did I blow up? Why did I get upset? Why did I get offended? I'm helping you if you listen. Why did I get offended? And what I had to resolve within myself was, I got offended because I'm stressed out. I'm restless. I'm feeling this way. So it didn't matter how she said what she said, because I was feeling like this. I was going to blow up. So then I had to come back and apologize and say, listen, I'm sorry, because I responded to you based out of how I feel, and I wasn't listening to what you said. I completely disregarded what you said so that I could feel right.
Mhm.
So I had to get off my high horse of pride. I'm helping you tonight. I had to get off my pride horse and say, listen, I was more concerned about being right than actually listening to your heart. Now that I've had time to understand what your heart was saying, I apologize, and I was wrong, and I'll do better with what you're asking me to do. But are you willing to have those conversations? And are you willing to do that work to say, well, why did I get offended?
Also, too, I think even what Rob was saying, not taking it personally when I tell you what I want. And I think the being wired differently is because sometimes when women tell you what they want, it's for us to take it personally. Like if she says, I need some time alone, and we be like, oh, okay, and walk away, then it's like, wait, hold on. What you doing? You're not gonna ask why? You're not gonna do this?
Right.
But when we said it's no, I just really need some time. It has nothing to do with you. Maybe you didn't do anything wrong at all, because if you did, I would have told you. I just need some time and some alone time with my PS5. And I think that because we are wired differently, you expect the same response that you give from us, when really we don't have the same intentions behind what we're saying.
And I want to add this in, and it just reminded me of what when we talk about us being wired differently. It reminded me of what Marlon posted a little while ago. But it's two things. Number one is when it's the way we're brought up as well as men and women. Women are brought up and especially by men, by their father, by their uncles, by even male teachers. Women are more catered to by males in their life. And if a little girl falls down, scrapes her knee, oh, let me take you inside, let me get you some alcohol, let me get you a Band-Aid, let me kiss it. A young man falls down, scrapes his knee, his father or his uncle is right there, and man, wipe it off. Come on, go. Man, you better stop all that crying. And so, women are groomed to announce their pain. Women are groomed to announce what they need on a consistent basis. I remember when I first got married, my wife, I would do something to her and just tap her or something. She'd be like, ow! I'm like, I know I barely touched you. But out of habit, she would yell out and ouch and do all this stuff. And I'm like, what? Why are you doing that? Like, why? And it would confuse me. And so Marlon posted something in the group a little bit in the live a little bit ago. He said, by the time we speak up, it's usually too late. By the time your man tells you what he needs, he's been wanting it for a while. It's been a good minute that he's been suffering in silence before he actually opens up his mouth and says anything, because we've been groomed to sit there and suffer and endure the pain quietly as a good soldier, as a good man, as a strong man. And that's what we've been taught for our lives. That's what strength was, and it's not. So we have to number one, as men, learn to communicate immediately and be open to that. We have to learn as women, not to become offended when he communicates, and also to realize that, is this something he's communicating because he needs it right now, or is this something that he's been needing for the last 4 days and he's just now opening his mouth and communicating? And so I just want to start that off.
That's the one, Rob.
That's good.
Is this a new pain, or is this a pain that he's been dealing with all week long and he's finally at the breaking point?
Yes.
Woo! My God.
And has he mentioned it before?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I think this goes for both sides. Because if we've talked about this before, 9 times out of 10, by the 3rd time we want to bring it up, we're not going to bring it up anymore.
Nope.
Because if I continue to bring it up and it doesn't get rectified, then you've told me my feelings don't matter.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to bother me every time I bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm going to stop bringing it up because that has not shown me to get results.
Absolutely.
Men are extremely results driven.
Mm-hmm.
Men are straight line, logic driven. Look, this didn't give me results, so let me go do this now. Talking to you didn't seem to do it, so let me act out. I remember earlier in our marriage, I would never do this now, but earlier in our marriage, and my wife would have confirmed this. Like, it would seem like if I was in the mood for sex and she wasn't, then we're not having sex. If she's in the mood for sex, then I would automatically like, yo, I'm gonna give it to you. But at a certain time early in our marriage, at a breaking point, it got to the point where I was like, I'm gonna not give it to her just to see what she do, just to see if she act out, just to see if she, gets mad like I get mad. And that was stupid, but it backfired.
When it becomes, who you sleeping with? Who you sleeping with? You give it to somebody. If you ain't giving it to me, you give it to somebody.
Like, right, what's going on? Like, what's really happening? But that's what happens is, we say it, after we say it and we say it and we say it, we're like, okay, that's not getting me results. Let me shut up about it because that's not what's going to give me results. And then we end up going, trying to think about or going to other avenues, and that's not good either.
Right.
Rob said something earlier about how we're conditioned to suffer in silence. And the reality is we don't want to suffer in silence.
Mhm.
But we will suffer in silence if we're not going to be heard.
Yep.
Suffering is more comfortable if we're just going to continue not to be heard.
Because being unheard is disrespect.
Yep.
It's disrespect. It's disrespect.
And I would rather.
If I'm already groomed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Josh.
And I would rather stay in the place where I understand me and find understanding than to express myself to you and be misunderstood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you keep showing me that you not that you can't understand me, that you won't understand me.
Mm-hmm.
So when you show me that you won't understand me, don't complain about me not trying to get you to understand me anymore.
I've seen in this exact case where I could have said something and they will hear it from someone else, the exact same thing, and have all the understanding in the world. So it lets me know that it's not that you don't understand what I'm saying. Is how I feel is you just don't care.
And there is a obstacle of familiarity. There definitely is an obstacle of familiarity. There are things that you can say to somebody, and because they are familiar with you, they won't receive it, they won't learn it, they won't understand it. But then, someone else that they're not as familiar with, that they don't have as much access to, can say the exact same thing, and all of a sudden, a light switch flips on, and I got this revelation from this person over here, and they told me this.
I'm not having it. You Dana just cheated on me. If I say something to you,
that's how it feels.
And then another nigga said,
You're right. No, you said it right. You said it right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, because we said that word is okay. If I say something to you, and another nigga say the same exact thing, but you have understanding when that person said, you Dana just cheated on me. That's how I feel. Like
you ain't got to worry about me saying it no more.
And I don't even like this dude no more because you just listened to what he had to say. I got an issue with him. He don't even know why I got an issue with him.
Now, and I will say this: I hope that every man on this live and every man watching this thing knows that the cardinal sin for a man is to talk to another woman about their problems. So while y'all commenting, talking about y'all do it too, we know better. You better not talk to another woman about issues between you and your girl, because that's gonna get you in trouble. So before we hear that, before I see 16 more, y'all do it too. We know that, and it should not happen. And we know we could die if we get caught doing it. So, like I said, most of us know, don't do that.
Yeah, we're not stupid. We're not. Yeah.
So
that's the thing, though.
What's that?
I was just agreeing with Tay. That's the thing. If I've said something to you and you've completely disregarded it, but then you come home with this epiphany of the exact same thing that I've said, but from a different voice, don't look for me to give you anything else. Go on over there. Go eat. You eating over there? Go keep eating over there.
And someone said that men do it also. Here's the difference. And I can speak for me. If that happens, I'll acknowledge that my woman said it first. You know what? You've been telling me this for the longest, and I see, you know what I'm saying? y'all will come with like it's a whole new situation. Like somebody just spoke a new word into your life,
New Rhema,
a
new
fresh
revelation.
wind, and it's like,
Oh no!
wow.
Let's take it a step further. Let's take a step further. Your husband said it, but your pastor said it after him, and then all of a sudden, it's right.
Oh my God.
You know how many times as a pastor I have to reaffirm to these wives, don't you say I said nothing in your house. Because in your house, he's the priest of your home, right? There is nothing worse than doing that, right? Because it's disrespect.
Somebody said, well, what if the other guy said it better? That I was almost petty. I wasn't gonna do it.
I was
almost
writing in
petty.
the comments just now on that one, but I'm not. I was.
Woo!
No,
I was,
CC.
woo. Holy Ghost sat on my tongue. My God.
Hold on. I missed
Woo.
it. Y'all giving me time to go back and find it. What were you saying? Go ahead. It didn't got something.
Yeah. Y'all go ahead. Michael, was you saying something?
I'm just gonna leave that one alone because if I say it, it's gonna get me in trouble. So I'm not gonna.
And
Go
again,
ahead.
ladies, we are.
Go ahead,
We
Rob.
understand generalizations. we're not generalizing. We are talking about specific situations that we've experienced.
But the fact that we have to keep saying that, this is like the fourth time that we've had to say that. The fact that we have to keep saying that is
exhausted
of what we're talking about.
Michael, what was you going to say?
We're talking about our experiences. This is man cave. We don't come down to the she shed. She do hair. She do all the other stuff in the shed stuff. We don't come over there messing with y'all. So let us have our man cave moment.
Vernique asked if we could teach the men how to better communicate what they want to say.
Let's do that. But can you teach the women how to listen?
Don't do that. Don't do it. Because they do that to us all the time. Don't do that. They do that to us all the time, and we hate that. We hate that.
Thank you, overseer.
Right? Sorry. I'm sorry. Forgive me for that. You're a grown man. My apologies. But they do that to us all the time, and we hate when they do that. Right? Right? Okay. We got to communicate better. Right? I know what you was going to say, and you 100% right, Tay. You 100% right. Mm-hmm. But let's start with us first. How can we communicate? Go ahead.
But see, we've already expressed how we've repeated, and so in this situation, and I'll ask all of you, in a situation where you have communicated something clear as day to where anybody else outside of your woman would understand it, and they don't get it, is the issue my communication, or is the issue the way you're perceiving what I'm saying?
So can I give a different perspective?
Go ahead.
Right? Okay, because I just typed it in the comments, so I'm going to use the same thing. So I look at communication, especially between male and females, like we're coming from two different countries, right? When I go to Mexico, I'm expected to speak Spanish. I don't expect people in Mexico to speak English. When I go to my wife's territory, I have to adjust how I communicate to how she's going to understand, right? Because we don't communicate the same way. My wife is straight to the point. She don't want no fluff. She wants me to get straight to it, right? She might cuss a little bit, right? But we still safe here. But whatever it is, get straight to the point, no fluff. That's how she communicates. Now, when she come to me, watch your tone. Don't shake your neck. Don't smack your lips, right? You can say whatever as long as you don't lace it like that. Because when she comes to my country, she has to speak my language. So I think in order for us to communicate better, we got to put that person's communication style as a filter to our mouth. So I'm going to approach you the way you hear. I'm going to approach you the way you understand, not the way I want to say it and do. I don't have time for that. I'm going to approach it the way I know you understand, right? And then make sure you have clarity and then let you respond in a manner that I'm going to understand, because we don't speak the same language. Right. Otherwise, we need a translator, who we call a mediator, to sit in people's marital counseling and try to repeat exactly what we said in a different way to avoid a fight. Right. People pay to do that.
I have a question though. Is the language really what you're saying, or is it the person that's saying it?
Say that again. Is the language really what you're saying? So
Is the like?
so for me, my goal is to make sure she understands what I'm saying. So I'm going to go to Mexico and speak Spanish, right? I'm going to make the effort into learning that language so I know that I'm understood. From me, because my goal is to make sure she gets what I'm saying, because I want change. Now, when she speaks to me, she has to speak to me in my language, or I'm not going to hear her. I'm not going to understand her. So it's an adjustment for me, right? Because I'm emotional, but I've put in the work to understand how she responds, how she listens. So that's why I take that approach. Now, that may not work for everybody, but listen, if I know how she speaks, I know how she listens, I'm gonna go that route, because the goal is to get understanding.
But he said something that was very powerful. He said, I take the initiative because I want change. It's not about me wanting to be right. I want change. And what I often say is, I do what Jesus did. Jesus talked to a certain group of people very plainly, and then he had to use parables for other people.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that what he was saying was so foreign. It was just people have different ways of understanding and communicating. So because I want better, I'm going to come to you in the way that you understand me, not in the way that I want me to, not in the way that I understand me, but in the way that you need understanding. Because in order for you to communicate, you have to first in order for you to change, you have to first understand. And if you don't understand, you're going to get caught up in what I said, and you're going to miss the heart of what I said. So let me speak to you heart to heart, breast to breast, so that we don't get that. But that takes time, and that takes relationship. So that means I have to do my due diligence to learn how you communicate and how you understand, so that when I come to you, I know how to talk to you.
Because truth be told, listen, if I need sex, I don't care if I have to learn that in Tagalog, which is her family's language. I'm gonna learn it in Tagalog so I can get what I need.
Right.
That's right. I don't care if I got to learn sign language, praise dance language, whatever. Come lay up in my sheet.
And I just want to repeat too. Part of communication may be, who told us this? I can't remember who I heard this from most recently, but when speaking, to your spouse or to your, girlfriend, whoever your relationship, your significant other, saying what you need to say and then asking, okay, now, what did you hear out of what I just said? What did you get out of it? What do you think I just said? So that you can know, so that y'all can be on the same page. Because a lot of times you ask that question and they'll repeat something. It's like, wait, where did you get that from? Because that's not what I said at all. And then you can go back and clarify. But I encourage everybody to go to counseling. I have no problem letting y'all know. Me and my wife go to counseling, and we do. Really whenever we need to. We just we try to go consistently, but sometimes it's just like, oh no, we need to go talk to this person today, like tomorrow. When can we go? So and there are moments where our counselor will say something to my wife or say something to me, and I'll understand it, or she'll understand it far better than what I could have said or what my wife could have said. So I encourage everybody, don't stop at just, well, I tried to communicate, but they didn't understand me. Okay, well, why don't I go to a mediator, go to a pastor, go to a counselor, and like Pastor Fitz said, as a translator, and that person can help translate. Because to be completely honest, like we said, men and women, our minds are wired so differently. We really do speak two different languages, and it's hard to understand because of course we all speak English, but men and women think so differently that it really is like we're speaking two different languages. So get you a translator. Go to that mediator. Go to your pastor. Call Pastor Fitz. You know what I'm saying? Like, go to somebody that can hear and understand and say, hey, listen, did you hear what that person just said? They saying they need this, and explain it to you to where, you know, if y'all are having trouble communicating, it's okay. Let somebody else bridge the gap so that y'all don't have that issue so long. Don't wait too late.
Yeah, it's worth it. Once you get it, though, you can communicate through anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it'll help you learn how to communicate the same, the same way that that they do. You know, you can start off going to that quote unquote translator mediator, and that'll help y'all begin to create the language that you need to be able to communicate with each other.
Absolutely.
This was good. Is there anything that y'all want to say? We went over time, 15 minutes over time, and I want to get out everything. I guess we can see if there's any questions in the comments, or if there's anything that y'all want to get out before we close this thing up.
So, go ahead. Go ahead, Rob.
I was just gonna say this too. I just want to say this. We need to have more teaching on those who are not called to be married. We live in a culture that glorifies marriage so much, and I get it. Marriage is wonderful. Sex is great, and as Christians, you know, we want to, you know, be able to enjoy that within the confines of marriage. But at the same time, you know, Paul talked about those of us who were called to remain single and to focus on the work of the ministry. And the church, the body, has almost, I mean, so much teaching on marriage and being one and all that stuff, and it gives us a Cinderella culture, and there's almost no teaching on how do you know if you're not even called to be married? How do you know if God has given you the strength and the power to be able to remain single? And so, you know, just, you know, keep that in mind. It's already kind of preset into our minds that marriage is just something that people do. And if you're not getting married, then you're an outcast. Nobody wants you, and that's just not the case. And just something to think about.
I would say to that, we have to start at the basics. We have to start with the fundamentals. We try to master loving relationally when we don't even know how to love ourselves. One, we don't understand love in general, so we try to find definitions by, like somebody said earlier, building things. So I got this version from Instagram. I got this version from Twitter. I got this version from Facebook. And then you try to bring that and offer that to somebody. And when they deny it, it's like, oh, well, you know, that was a waste of my time. No, learn love, learn humanity. And then when you learn humanity, you can have a grace that you want for yourself.
Can I add to that? Learn humility, right? Humility. I don't always have to be right. I always want to get it right, though.
Yes.
You know, and guys, you know, we talk big, we talk hard, right? We guys. But at the end of the day, we all understand that we all have areas we got to grow in. We all have insecurities. We all have traumas. There's no generalization that fits everybody perfectly. So anytime, you know, it feels like we're coming for people, it's not even that. This is just real life that nobody talks about. And how do we fix it if we don't talk about it, right? As much as we talk about effective communication, these are the discussions we need to have so we get clear understanding, right? But we're not telling anybody how to live. We're not saying there's a one size fits all for everybody, because we're all different. And so, you know, we appreciate the open ear. And one of the biggest indicators for an open ear is when, like I said, you listen to understand and you don't listen to respond. And believe it or not, men pay attention to that stuff. You know, women pay attention to that stuff. When the response is so quick, there's no way you could have processed it. You're like, oh, you don't listen, right? So we appreciate just the opportunity to share, in my opinion. I like the growth. And one last thing, ladies, as much as you don't think it, we be on the AW men side, and there are men holding men accountable, right? If you ever have a concern that men are not holding men accountable, we have really shifted our focus. And I could tell in the group, I think you guys will all agree, we're big on holding people accountable in there, doing what's right, doing what's honorable. We used to see a lot of posts about women saying, I wish men would hold other men accountable. We do. If they're in that group, it's happening. And anybody who's in there, we've had some great discussions recently. It's really shifted the group. We are trying to make sure men are healthy husbands, right? And treat their wives right. And the only reason why we speak these things the way we do is because we see a common thread and a common need in the group. So I just want to share that.
Man.
Mike, you want to leave him with something?
I'm exhausted. No, I think this is definitely a healthy conversation, and I like the fact that we can have the conversation through the rebuttals, like through the rebuttals of the comments, and I feel like we broke through enough ground to where the ladies actually start listening to us. So I think this is definitely necessary. I think the defense walls came down, and the ears and the heart start to listen. So I think this is definitely necessary.
And the main goal for this group is to promote healthy and successful marriages. And so, again, that's all we want from each other. Like Fitz there, we're holding each other accountable. And I'm glad that we can do this because you get a look at men, not only just men, but godly men communicating the needs that we have. And also getting to understand you guys' point of view with a lot of the questions that we have. So it's dope. I'm about to add the first lady into the John so she can give some announcements. And then we're going to pray out.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. First of all, I just want to, giving honor to God who's the head of my life and to these amazing, illustrious group of men who we have the pleasure of hearing from tonight. Thank you guys for, as always, supporting the vision of AW and for giving us wisdom. Like, I know I play in the comments a lot, but it's the one time of the month that I can actually act up with the rest of the saints. And so I do take advantage of that. But seriously, I really do. And I really want to, what Michael said is A1, is that I really do think that you all were heard tonight. Your work was not in vain. We fussed, but we listened too. And so I definitely appreciate you guys being vulnerable and honest. Still feel like you guys could do a masterclass on effective communication for men, but that's not why we're here. We are here for announcements. A couple things. I normally give the men announcements before they go up, but I've been in the process of transitioning. So a couple things. One, if you are not on the AW email list, I promise you that by the end of this week, you're going to be mad. Like, you're going to be really upset. So I suggest that you get on the AW email list expeditiously, preferably by tomorrow if I can get all my ducks in a row. So www.authenticallywed.com, you'll get a pop-up, and then you just insert your name and your email, and you'll get whatever email and correspondence comes out this week. And then the other thing is, I actually am asking you guys live because I didn't ask you guys in private. So next week is actually supposed to be She Shed, but there are some things that have happened on my personal page, as well as within the group, that I feel like demands maybe a team up or a mashup, so to speak, of She Shed and Man Cave. So I think that there's a couple discussions that we have had outside the group. Fitz was definitely a part of one. I want to say you were too, Mike, about concerns about submission and women working outside of the household. Working solely in the household and things like that. And so because it caused such an uproar, I felt like it might be a good topic to discuss next week instead of our usual She Shed. she said, I know that we love our one-on-one time. We haven't had it in a minute. I am willing to give an extra week so we can possibly move it to the last week of the month, or the first Tuesday in December. But men, if you guys are willing to join in on the conversation and have it together in order to talk about some of these things that we have been seeing, and it'll correspond with our announcement this week. So y'all down or no?
Yeah, I'm down.
Don't sound so reluctant. First of all, I'm offended at like the silence.
See, here we go.
I mean, I like the conversation, and I think that there's definitely some stuff that I would like to say in that joint. So yeah, I'm down.
It was the she shed warrior for me. That's what it was.
I gotta represent my clique. So we'll talk about it a little more offline, but I present that. So next week, you guys may see us all together. But other than that, I think that was it. Everybody let everybody know where to find you. If you are not following at Authentically Wed on IG, make sure you're doing that as well. And if you haven't gotten your conversation cards, I would do that as well. All on the Authentically Wed website. That's all I have to say. I'm gonna head out. Thank you guys. Love each and every one of you. Have a good night.
All right.
So y'all want to go ahead and not introduce yourselves, but tell people where they can follow you at? Yeah, we look so wore out right now.
Listen, we drained. The anointing is lifted.
Listen, I just want to go lay on my wife's lap.
Oh my god.
Well, look,
go ahead, Rob.
Oh, well, look, my name is Rob. Y'all can follow me here on Facebook at Rob Hooper, or Instagram at Mixed by Rob.
I'm Josh. Hold on. I'm Josh. You can follow me at Josh Dewey. That's JOSHDAWAY. WAY. I can spell tonight. Josh Dewey. That's on Instagram and Twitter. Don't follow me on Twitter, but yeah.
What's my name? Fitz, Pastor Fitz. Sorry. You can follow me on Instagram at Ernest Fitzu Jr. Or you can go to my website, ernestfitzu.org, get my book, relationships, all that fun stuff. Or if you want relationship coaching, arelationshift.com.
Relation what?
A relation shift.
Okay.
SHIFT, yeah.
Okay.
We're trying to get you from the other one to
Dope.
Y'all better take him up on that while he available.
For real. You can find me on Facebook, Michael Elliott Rice, and on Instagram, Michael_E_Rice. Don't follow me on Twitter.
And my name is Tay Spears. Again, you can find me on everything, Instagram and Twitter at Tay_Spears. I prefer Instagram. If you go on Twitter, then that's at your own risk. But so Instagram is what I prefer. And I just dropped an album, y'all. It's called Undefiled. It's for the bedroom saints. So you can listen to that and whatnot. And and you can find me on here under Tay Spears and whatnot. But I would say don't follow me on here either, because I act a mess on Facebook as well.
Yeah. I forgot to say it, but my brand new book, Sins of a Mother 2, is out. It wasn't out the last time we was here, but she out now. So go get it. It's Gems and Drama.
Okay.
All right. Anybody want to pray us out?
Father, in the name of Jesus, restore the virtue that we just poured out and dumped.
Oh God.
All across our Facebook timeline. No, Father. And real talk, God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together and share and open up and communicate. We thank you for the open ears, God. We're thankful for the effort. We're thankful for the desire and the intent. God, as we all, gosh, I'm such a pastor. As we all go our separate directions, please, God, cover us, God, in our daily activities. Keep us mindful of who we represent, God, as we try to draw closer to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Man, you are such a pastor.
I'm sorry. I almost said as we leave this place, but not your presence.
All right, love y'all. And yeah, we about to leave out until next time, or until we meet with the she shetterings.
My Lord.
She's
So-
shattering.
All right, y'all.
Peace.